Today is first in a series of several virtual tours of the ranch as part of the public access program here with the Tejon Ranch Conservancy. Today we're excited to share with you Big Sycamore Canyon, which is right over there. We're going to head up there, and Big Sycamore Canyon is one of the jewels of the Tejon Ranch, and you're going to be excited to see the type of terrain and level of difficulty with regard to the trail we're going to be on, and also the vegetation and plants and trees you're going to see, and maybe, if we're lucky, wildlife. Welcome to the opening of Big Sycamore Canyon. And Big Sycamore Canyon gets its name compared to Little Sycamore Canyon because of the width of the canyon itself. Big Sycamore Canyon is wider than Little Sycamore Canyon. Behind me is a beautiful valley oak specimen, and it has been used by a number of television commercial companies that have also filmed music videos here, including Taylor Swift's Wildest Dreams, as well as a Taco Bell commercial and Coca-Cola company. And if you were to Google any of those, you can see that and you'll think, hey, I've seen that before. So we're getting ready to head up the road, and even today, there's a wonderful variety of rosy buckwheat blossoms showing on the floor here of the desert, and some other flowers. And almost any time of the year we come out here to the ranch, you're going to see some vegetation that shows the variety of displays, whether it be wildflowers or other plants and other types of trees and vegetation. So let's head up the road. Here we are a little bit further up Big Sycamore Canyon, and behind us you see the reason this is part of classic California. The rolling hills, the trees that are in the background, we see sycamore right there, and also some of the specimens and examples of oak trees here on the ranch. There are valley oak, live oak, blue oak, black oak, interior live oak, and scrub oak, just to name a few, and there are many, many more. This is the point in Big Sycamore Canyon where, as part of Tejon Ranch Conservancy, we would drive you from the gate of the ranch to this point, and then we'll get out of the vehicle, we'll put on our packs and head out on our hike from here. From here to the point where we turn around is about 2.5 miles, so it's a 5-mile round trip hike. Elevation change is approximately 650 feet, so it's a moderate hike. And there are over a dozen spots where the creek crosses the road or crosses the trail. And like today, there's no water in the creek, but there are times when there is water that you will need to hike across. So we'll talk about this later, but that will be as part of the emphasis on wearing appropriate footwear. All right, this is probably the most difficult part of this particular trail. And as you can see from here and other areas that we've been on earlier, the areas on this Big Sycamore Canyon hike are all graded dirt roads. So it's not like we're going to be bushwhacking our way through brush and things like that. So this will get your heart rate up pretty good, but we're not in a big race or anything like that. And this is where the appropriate footwear part will come into play, in addition to the fact that you're going to want a hiking staff. That's helpful to get up here, and also the sturdy boots or footwear to be able to go across some of those creeks that we passed earlier. And again, we're right in the thick of this oak woodland that is just absolutely stunning. See, that wasn't so bad, and as my heart is pounding. But no, it is great. You can see that some people might be reluctant to sign up for a hike because they think it's going to be too hard. Not that bad, and the reward at the end of the hike is absolutely phenomenal. Plus, we have a great place up here that we can have a picnic lunch. So we started off at just over 3,400 feet elevation when we started our hike. We hiked the 2.5 miles here to our turnaround point, and right here we're at about 4,100 feet elevation. So that's where that 650 feet elevation gain came in. The last of which was that about 100 or 150 feet elevation gain is just this last part right here, which is the hardest part of the hike physically. And again, a great reward in terms of just the beauty and being able to look super close at a lot of the trees and the grasses and just the terrain. And we're pretty much right in the center of the ranch where we are right now. All right, here we are again at the spot where we have our picnic lunch. Let's go over the list of items that you should have as far as your gear guide. Again, closed-toed footwear, no flip-flops or sandals, preferably with some kind of traction soles so that you can get traction. You want to dress in layers because sometimes it can be super nice one moment and then the clouds cover up the sun and it gets windy and can get cold. Also, if you get overheated, that way you can kind of takes layers off. But beyond the bug spray, sunscreen, and walking staff, about 2 liters of water per person for this hike. And also, it's a good idea if you have some to bring some binoculars and a camera. You know, mine's not a fancy one. You can, there's so many opportunities for you to take pictures and share with your family and friends, and you'll be able to look at some of the treetops. Like for instance, you can see trees and some of the items that areas where birds are as part of their natural habitat, and you'll see some of the same terrain that the early Americans and early settlers saw hundreds and hundreds of years ago. One of the great things about this particular hike is it can be experienced year-round. Whether that be summer, autumn, winter, or spring, you get to see a wide variety of, again, the vegetation and the plants and wildlife like we saw. But we can come out here year-round, and again, it's a great idea to dress in layers. Okay, so let's talk about some of the administrative things. So as you can see, we're right here in the middle of essentially a wilderness, right out our back door. But things to keep in mind: if nature calls, these trees are going to be your friend. So there's no indoor plumbing, no restroom facilities once we get out here on the ranch. And so you need to prepare for that appropriately. And it's something you need to know about before you start the hike. But it is well worth the fact that we don't have a porcelain restroom facility out here. So that's one of those things we need to cover, but we want you to make sure you know about it and that it's not a surprise when we get out here and actually are out amongst the trees and woodlands. Here we are in Little Sycamore Canyon, which is the home of the largest or the biggest sycamore tree here on the ranch. And just an absolutely beautiful specimen of the sycamore family. And here we are again in just the classic California rolling hills and just beautiful golden grass and oak woodlands up the canyon here, as you can see. So this wraps up our tour here today. Thank you again for joining us on this virtual tour of the ranch, and we really look forward to you either joining us in a future virtual tour or an in-person tour on the ranch. And again, thanks from all of us at Tejon Ranch Conservancy for joining us here on Tejon Ranch.